Is there an apostrophe in the Slovak language? And if so, what decides if an apostrophe is necessary in Slovak? For example, the word veľmi. Can you see? It looks like there's an apostrophe. So the fact is that we don't have apostrophes in Slovak. Look at the difference between these two words. Can you see how far is the M from the L in the second word? The gap is there because I intentionally put an apostrophe in it. The first word doesn't have the gap because there's no apostrophe. The little hook you see is a part of the L letter. It's one symbol. In Slovak, we have so-called soft and hard consonants, as you probably already know if you follow this channel. Hard ones are just normal, like in English, like this. D, T, N, L, S, T. Soft ones have a crown above. J, Č, N, L, S, Č. Now, sometimes some fonts, usually most fonts, use a font that changes the shape of the crown, specifically on the capital letter L. Some fonts use the same crown on top of the capital L as on the other letters. So it's the same symbol, just a different shape. Now, if you look at the lowercase letters of the same kind, you see how some of them are short and some of them are just as tall as the capital letters, while the short ones, like the N, S, T, have their soft version written with the same crown shaped mark, like this, N, S, Č. But then with the tall ones, like D, T, L, you can see they are tall. So their soft versions change the shape of the crown into a hook, which is the one that reminds you of an apostrophe. So the crown and the hook are the same exact symbol. It just looks better, I guess, if they don't have a crown hovering over them. So it's just for the practical reasons. If you handwrite, it doesn't matter, you put the crown. But specifically on print letters or digital letters, the fonts are set this way. I don't know why, probably for the practical reason. Now, some consonants can be short and long too. For long ones, we use yet another symbol similar to apostrophe as well. So look at these ones. These are the symbols. The first one is for long letters and the other one is an apostrophe. You can see they are a little bit different. I hope you can see it. It also depends on the font itself, but usually this is how they look. The one used for long letters is supposed to sit on top of the letter, just like in the Spanish language where it's got the so-called accent. Meanwhile, the apostrophes, which don't exist in Slovak, they usually go between the two letters or behind the letter where the apostrophe applies to, usually. So for example, we have R for a short sound, like R, and then we have R for a long R sound. Same applies to L. L is a short one, and L is a long L, like L. Therefore, we've got 3 L's in total. So we have the classical L, the long one, L, the soft one, L. Neither of them have an apostrophe, actually. They are using diacritic marks to signal the way they are pronounced. Can you see how the diacritic marks sit inside or in the, or just in close proximity to the letter? They are incorporated to the L's personal space, let's say. That's because they are part of the letter itself. An apostrophe would need to sit outside the L, just behind the L, which is not happening. You have an example of the word velmi. If you listen to the word, it's pronounced as velmi with a soft L, almost as if you listen to, let's say, Arabic speakers with their accent they have with L. So they have this soft, warm accent on L, from what I notice. In this case, we write it with the soft accented L as L. If the word is pronounced as velmi with a dull, round L sound, this is more like an American accent L. So it's hard accented. We would need to write the word with a regular L, velmi. This word doesn't exist. Just giving you an example to how the sound of the letter changes. So velmi versus velmi. So here's like a bonus from me. Let's look at what the Slovak computer keyboard looks like. So you can see the top row where the numbers are, we have these letters with diacritics. You can also write diacritics manually. Just behind the number row there is a symbol for the diacritic marks, and then you press normal letter without the diacritic and it creates the letter with diacritic. But there is this row. On our phones, on the other hand, there are 3 ways to use the Slovak phone keyboard. One way is you don't use diacritics, you don't use autocorrection or word prediction. So let's assume that's switched off on your phone. So you don't use diacritics, you write velka instead of velka. And just leave it like that and assume the recipient will understand. The second way is you type a word without a diacritic and have the autocorrection and word prediction turned on. So the correct version of the word from your corpus will automatically pop up, or in case there's multiple words that could come out of the corpus that you have just written, you just choose the right one. The third way is write in diacritics manually. So if you have Slovak language on your phone and you use Slovak keyboard, let's say you want to write velka, you press V, you press E, and then you hold L, and a little menu pops out of the 3 different versions of L's that we have, and you choose L. Then you press K, and then the same thing. You hold A, you get a little menu of the 3 kinds of A we have, and you press A. That's how you get manually the word. This is an AI generated image because the phone doesn't take screenshots of that. You cannot take a screenshot if you hold a letter like that. So this is what it looks like actually. You hold the A and then you have the versions. Back in the old era, before the smartphones and touchscreens, you could, if you used letters with diacritics, on your button phone, you would get charged more by your operator. So people learned not to write properly on their phones. Now, today, usually text prediction and autocorrection helps us writing proper Slovak on our phones because we are too lazy to manually press and hold letters to open a menu with multiple kinds of letter. Anyways, you might ask why long consonants cannot be written simply with double letter like in Italian or Spanish, for example, double L, like they use in mozzarella. Why don't we use it with I don't know, volcha? Why we use the diacritics instead of just using the double letters like everywhere? Well, that's because there's only two consonants that can be long, R and L. Meanwhile, all vowels can be long. All vowels. Long vowels are written with diacritic mark. A, E, I, O, U, E. The two consonants are just borrowing the same technique, just to be unified, I guess. You don't write A's like mom, like that. You write mom like this. Then why not write verba as well like this and not like this verba? There are a few words where we have double N, and that's where we actually use and write double N. Like this example, I don't want to confuse you, but for this one, for this consonant, we don't use the diacritic mark. You might have already seen this letter, but it's not Slovak. I think Polish language has this, and some other languages as well. If you see a letter with this mark on N, that's not Slovak that you see. That's another language.